court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, if you please. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer at Studio 1 of Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to this fact. I see. Very well, I would like to move on to your testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. First, I would like to call a familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir, I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studio. See? This here is the employee area. The actors did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that works at the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station, there's a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer, the defendant, Will Powers, and a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then after lunch, the victims, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now, jump ahead to later that day, 5 p.m., the production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. The time of death was 2:30. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case in brief. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? I think I can probably remember that. So the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval. Your Honor, this case is quite simple if you ask one question, and that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Will the witness declare her name? My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need for you to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please. Seems Edgeworth has a bit of trouble getting his witnesses to say their names. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. So just call me Grandma as part of my name. When I was young, I was an old bag, something. I can't even catch up with this. Objection! I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we can get to the testimony. Now, the witness was stationed at the main gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, see, I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know your stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest have been doing a run-through there since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 o'clock when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me, because a certain man walked right by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers. That man right there, and he was heading towards the studio. You saw the defendant, then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. So, you might notice, if you paid attention earlier, you might think something was incredibly awkward about the script at the moment. A run-through. They were working out a scene between the Steel Samurai and the Evil Magistrate. They got the basics figured out by noon and were to use the afternoon for practice. Rehearsal was supposed to start at 5 o'clock. That's why poor old Hammer went to Studio 1 in the afternoon. So Powers was in his dressing room sleeping when he was supposed to be practicing. Talk about a laid-back hero. If there was a run-through in the morning, why did you only get there after noon? What kind of errands? Oh, well, you know. Answer the question. Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers. Observing, you know. Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station? Whippersnapper! I told you I liked the gig, didn't I? I did my job. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs. Always. Never missed one in all my years. Wow! I want to see a Steel Samurai run-through too. You could quit being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. Did you see the victim then? Did I see poor old Hammer? No. He'd already gone to the studio before I got back to the guard station. Tell us what happened next. So you saw Mr. Powers? That's what I said. Got wax in your ears, Sonny? Nick, this is your chance. Yeah, time to pull out secret weapon. I'll say it again. It was him. Secret weapon time! Let me get this straight, Oldbag. Miss Oldbag. You've been saying since yesterday that you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai defender of Neo Old Tokyo. Miss Oldbag, is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course! Didn't your mama teach you any sense, Sonny? Anyone can plainly say that that's Powers, right? Yes. Well, I wonder... True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that doesn't mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in this court is accusing you of that, Miss Witness. He's having trouble calling her Oldbag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that the person in the photo is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Nosy old man. Well, of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised? The prosecution would like to ask the witness, please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I supposed to know everyone would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. He didn't even give it a second look. Wow, old Windbag has left even Edgeworth speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. I never say anything I don't mean, mind you. That morning, during a run through the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently, he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now, look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his legs, see? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he had sprained his ankle? Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's gotta be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. He broke a prop? Sure did. His own samurai spear. His samurai spear? The murder weapon? Luckily, I was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. I'd better write that down in the court record. Was Mr. Powers' ankle badly sprained? Not so bad that he could walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Thus the nap. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot, okay. Are you absolutely sure? Let's take a look at that picture again. So he was walking strangely because he was injured. It does look like he was dragging his foot. See? And you didn't trust me, whippersnappers! Still, you can't look at this and say it's Mr. Powers. Yes, but only Mr. Powers would have dragged his leg. He has a point. It does seem quite likely that it was Powers. There's got to be more to this. I better keep pressing her. Trip and fall. Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankle. You may continue your testimony. Let's go backwards for this, really. I'm fascinated. Who was present at the run-through? Well, let's see. There was Powers, he's the Steel Samurai, and poor old Hammer, the evil magistrate, and me. And what exactly were you doing? Observing. Just observing. What about the assistant? Oh, she was off moving backdrops around and such, so she didn't see the run-through then. Whippersnapper? Hey, I haven't said anything yet. I'll have you know I'm not pointing fingers at anyone behind their backs. Everything I've said is on the straight and narrow. The up and up. Yesterday I was whining about it, pointing fingers this way, and I make one lady want to cry. Mr. Wright, please, for all our sakes, try not to upset the witness. I think Edgeworth has met his match. I think we've heard enough, haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there's one thing that bothers me. Which is? Where is the Steel Samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the Steel Samurai, yes. And it is clear that the person in the Steel Samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the Steel Samurai. Nowhere in this photo can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense is a point. I also wonder if someone else, not caught on camera, could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility as well. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. Will the witness continue her testimony, please? No need to ask twice. The time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m., true? The only person I saw go to the studio before then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be the Steel Samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Are you sure?
Objection!
Hold on! Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by the camera at the gate for the studios, correct? Yes, sir, Sonny. So, whenever anybody passes by here, it automatically takes a picture? And here I thought you didn't know your head from a hole in the ground. Right, anyway. It's also true that the computer in the guard station records all camera security data. It's the other way around, sorry. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that on the back of the photo are printed the words, October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Even I know it means that it was taken at 2 p.m. on October the 15th. Really, Sonny. Actually, I knew that too. The issue here is the bit at the end where it says photo number 2. Photo number 2? The computer only held data for one photo on the day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Order, order! Please tell the court what you mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I wanted to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not one but 2 people went to the studio that day, yet there is only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Only someone with access, the security lady herself. You watch your mouth, whippersnapper! The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, that's what it would seem to mean. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help! Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. Some help you are, you're a whippersnapper too. Whippersnapper? Something the matter, Miss Oldbag? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate, someone other than the Steel Samurai. Well, yes. I suppose you could put it that way. I see. Your testimony, please. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one other important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and I check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it, and I remember throwing out one photo from the day. Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny, I've only just remembered it. Right, anyway, Mr. Wright, please begin the cross-examination. Well, I'd say this was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Every day, I do not actually read out these sequences. Well, who in the heck was in that photo you erased? A fanboy. Fanboy? Steel Samurai fanboys. Real freaks, if you ask me. They get information about the rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging about. Mom was there that day. Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside and, well, that's where they come in. They come in for the drain? I told you they were freaks. Oh, and... they're kids. Children. Whippersnappers. Kids? So, on the photo that you erased, it was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? Order! Let me get this straight. You saw 2 people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be about the 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh, yes, well, we see his type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. A boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. Impossible, I'd think. It's quite heavy. Right! As I said, I didn't pay him much mind. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. I'd like to take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. Mr. WP? Yes? Tell me straight. Were you really in your dressing room? You didn't go to the studio. I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping, honest. So, who was the Steel Samurai in that security photo? How should I know? The Steel Samurai costume was off in the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anyone would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So, where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. You're the only likely suspect right now. Nick! What are we going to do? First, we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could conceivably have done this. Right. And it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey, Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't sigh like that. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Will Powers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thoughts on this matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studios was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence, but there is still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Will Powers. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person who could have committed this crime. Order, interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right, great. As if the stakes weren't high enough. So, who was this person other than Mr. Powers who could have committed murder? It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Who? The Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means that whoever was in the suit knew about the morning's injury. Maybe because they had been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammer who knew about the injury. The security lady, Oldbag. What? Whippersnapper! Order! Order! Is this true, Oldbag? Oldbag, that's Mrs. Oldbag to you! Miss Oldbag was standing guard alone in the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left her post to steal the Steel Samurai costume, and then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. But why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she could point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent deductive reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes 2, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump in with an objection and some new damning evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. What? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, so you all think I did it, is that it? Edgy boy, don't just sit there, do something! What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to take this the whole way? The very same reasoning that makes Mr. Powers the suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's actions on that day. But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer? You forgot that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope. Wait just a moment. What about the other person who went to the studio? The boy! The one whose photo I erased! He's only a grade schooler though, as you said. 2nd or 3rd grade, was it? That doesn't matter! When I was that age, I could pin my old man in 10 seconds tops. Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer. What? How can you be so sure? Oh, or is it be nice to the kids and mean to your elders, say? Whippersnapper! I have proof? Proof? Indeed. Now let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have proof that shows the boy could not have committed this murder.
Take that!
The scene of the murder, as we all know, was Studio 1. However, you need a card key to enter Studio 1. How could a boy with no formal relation to the studios have a card key? I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? The Windbag? Speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Miss Wendy... What was her name? Something Oldbag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this Oldbag before we continue. That is all. The court is adjourned. Wait a second! I'm not going to just sit here while you run off barking up the wrong tree. Me? I'm talking. Oh great. Stop the presses. The Windbag wants to talk. Miss Oldbag, what is all of this about? Have you omitted something from your testimony? Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about. Not to talk about? By whom? Huh? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk? Well, testify. Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studios on the day of the murder, They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me to just pretend that they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free. Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep this from the court until now? Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told. No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Who were these people? Well, the director and the producer, for starters. The director? We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a run-through of their action scene without a director? Of course. Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So, where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime, and they had a meeting after that. Where? Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? Here was a Studio 2? Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go for the gate and all the way to the left. The path where the monkey's head was fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I've already asked all my questions, but... Just keep going, just in case. Miss Oldbag, this is a trial for murder! I know that's silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it, and they gave me a little bonus on the side. So you got your bonus and you still talked. Have I asked everything? Should I stop? No, I'll continue. Let's just continue, mindlessly. Just get the last one. So, you were told not to talk? That's right, by the studio and TV bigwigs, no less. Why didn't I hear about this? Don't be too hard on yourself, Sonny. We're all in on it. Is that pretty much everything, though? I don't know. Just keep going. Always keep going. So they were actually in the studio? Yes, the whole day. When they heard about the murder, they beat it before the cops came. I'll kill this woman, I swear it. I feel sorry for Edgeworth. Almost. She really left him hanging on this one. Then? We've been through this script. Okay, I think we are actually at the end of it. This is the fast forward function, by the way. I don't think it's available in the original version, because the original version of the game doesn't have this massive panel on the bottom. Your Honor, we have learned there were others at Global Studios on the day in question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present. Yet, as we stand here, they have not been questioned. I hold that it's impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Will Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witness, Miss Oldbag, and more information about these other people we have just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This ends today's proceedings in the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. The court is adjourned. Really now? Is it? Is it? Oh, thank God. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. What was my voice again? I don't know. I was right to ask you to defend me. What was my voice again? I can't remember. Aw, really, it's nothing. Oh, or should I... We'll be going down to the studios to do some more investigation. We have to find out more about this director and producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses for certain. So, now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination. So, Nick, have we figured out just who it was in that Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been an old wingbag? What do you think, Mr. Powers?
I don't think it was her, really.
That was it. Neither do I, Nick. Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there. Someone had to be the bad guy for a bit to take the pressure off of Mr. Powers. Poor old wingbag. I kind of feel sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there with or without my accusation. Okay, let's get down to the studios. Right! We'll be back to visit you soon.
Thanks, guys.
And that will end tonight's play session.